Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Blissful Warrior midday session. I'm Rhonda Uretsky. I am the owner of Riverflow Yoga, which is bringing you this session of Blissful Warrior Yoga, a time to pause in the middle of the day, to stop and take a breath. We are very late today. I'm very late today coming to this session, and you know, it's such a wonderful example of how the day can get ahead of you or away from you very, very quickly if you're not out ahead of it. And that's exactly what happened to me today. Today is a rather exciting and historic day. There's a lot going on in our country. There's a lot to kind of pull my attention anyway in many, many different directions. And most of it feels very exciting and joyful to me. And it's sort of easy to suddenly look up and realize that, oh my goodness, I've missed my midday yoga session. Now, this is nothing to berate yourself over, right? Yoga and meditation and mindfulness, the whole point of it is to bring yourself back to a place of feeling settled and calm and joyful, and beating yourself up about things you haven't done or should be doing. One of my least favorite words in the English language, should. Although it is a really great way to tell if you're forcing yourself to do something that just doesn't feel quite right to you. But it is one of those tells, right? Whenever I say to myself, oh, I should be doing this, then I have that moment of realizing that here I am berating myself for something that doesn't feel quite right for me to do in this moment, and yet there's that voice of guilt saying, but you should be doing this. And you know, underneath that idea of should is this idea of needing to somehow prove your worthiness, to validate yourself, to feel like a good person in some way. And I really like to throw all of that out. And that is what this Blissful Warrior practice is all about. Yes, it uses yoga as the method, and we'll learn breathing techniques and mindfulness focus and other wonderful techniques to help you feel like yourself again. But when you feel like yourself, you have absolutely no reason to beat yourself up. You absolutely get into that place of recognizing and realizing. I like that word, realizing. If you break it down, to realize something is to make it real. So to realize that you're not only okay as you are, you're actually always in the right place, it's the right time, and however you are drawn to something, whatever you feel like doing in the present moment, is probably the best thing for you. You know, the basis of this practice comes from this idea that your body has an internal intelligence, and it is separate from your mind intelligence. You know, the mind intelligence is what figures things out and tells you what you should be doing, and dissects things and follows rules and has a logic to it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But your body has a wisdom all its own. And there are many, many moving parts in your body that all coordinate and work together to bring you into a state of well-being, which is your natural state. We're not used to thinking of it that way. We're accustomed to thinking of our bodies as these things that we really have to pay attention to and watch over and make sure that we're doing all we can to keep this body healthy, when in fact, it's actually the other way around. Your body has a sense of intelligence that's working at all times behind the scenes to keep you healthy. And when you feel this feeling of well-being, this sort of settled, calm, authentic, joyful feeling, then you know that you have connected to that innate intelligence of your body. When you're forcing or pushing or shoulding on yourself, then you're really working against that incredibly intelligent inner being. So this practice is called Blissful Warrior, because I do want you to be a warrior about your bliss, about your belief in this innate well-being, that you have a birthright that allows you to sort of ease and slide into without struggling, without forcing, and definitely without beating yourself to a pulp. So, as we begin this practice, make sure you have some water beside you. I'm reaching for mine. Drinking water is one of these beautiful, easy things that really brings you back into this feeling of well-being. You know, I love to talk about this idea of well-being. I'd love for you to believe in it, but until you feel it for yourself, until you experience it, you won't really know how beautiful and how true it really is. And it's easy to do this. We're going to start by drinking water. Drinking water is one of those extremely simple and immeasurably powerful ways to bring your body back into alignment, bring yourself back online in the present moment, and feel settled wherever you are. So grab some water and let's take some sips. People have asked if I'm part camel. I really do like to drink a lot of water. It's the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, and it's been a few hours now. I usually sip throughout the day, but it's been a few hours, and I haven't had any water to drink since this first in the morning, which for me this morning was 5:30. So I can really go through this whole bottle rather easily. Now that doesn't mean that you should drink a whole bottle of water. Remember, anytime you find yourself telling yourself what you should be doing, understand that that is not the message coming from your body intelligence, right? It's coming from your mind, which is trying to talk you into things. If you feel like drinking water, you'll reach for it and it will be pleasurable for you. And that's the way your body connects you to these wonderful practices that help you to feel like yourself again. A blissful warrior. Okay, so you've had a few sips, or you've guzzled water just like me, and now we're going to arrive here. So arriving in this practice means to find a way to settle your body that just feels comfortable to you. Right? And again, this is a different kind of an idea. You know, I don't want to malign exercise. A lot of it feels wonderful to a lot of people, but I am going to say that if you are forcing yourself into places of pain or discomfort, you're not doing yourself any favors. And there are quite a few disciplines that will tell you that there's no pain, there's no gain without pain. And I want you to believe exactly the opposite. That when you find a place of feeling comfortable in your own body, and I will guide you through ways to make that happen for you easily, that sense of comfort is your message that you are aligned for your perfect allowance of the full measure of the well-being that's your birthright. So, I'm sitting on a cushion. It's my favorite pose. I like to sit here cross-legged, sometimes in half lotus pose. I have the cushion under me. If you'd like to try this, any old cushion will do. Sit to the far front edge of that cushion so that your hips are tilted a little downward and your knees are tilted down even further. And sitting on the far front edge of that cushion will just naturally put your body into that position, and notice if that feels good to you. Try not to thrust your ribs forward, bring your rib cage back, but your hips and your knees will just naturally fall downward. And notice if that pull of gravity feels comforting. Place your palms in your lap or palms on your knees, palms up or palms down. See if that position places you in a feeling of physical comfort. If sitting on the floor just doesn't settle well with you, sit in a chair. Choose a comfortable one, maybe one with a back that you can lean against. And even if it doesn't have a back, lean back anyway, just a little bit. Most of the time we are all doing this, thrusting forward, right? Hello, Patricia. We are thrusting forward into life with our chin far from our neck, far from the top of our neck, and we have this sort of neck strain going on, and we thrust forward with our chest, and we have a back strain going on. So if you lean back just a little bit, you feel both of your hips settle on the ground. Notice the settled feeling, physically and emotionally. If you're in a place where you can lie down here in the middle of the day, Patricia, maybe you can close your office door and lie down on your back, then I highly recommend it. Lying on your back with your arms far from your sides, palms facing up. Your legs are out, your heels are lightly touching, and your toes are flopped apart. So you have this beautiful feeling of letting go. Now, if you're sitting, your eyes are open, whether you're sitting or lying down. If you're lying down, your eyes are not looking at the ceiling. They're sort of gazing down the middle of your body. And if you're sitting, then you're looking at something in front of you. Could be a blank wall, could be a nice pleasurable object, something really nice to look at. But look at it from the tops of your eyes more than the centers of your eyes to avoid that old chin thrust. The moment you shift your gaze, your chin will drop a little bit and you'll feel something settle. You might even be moved to bring your head backwards a little bit, just your head, feeling as if you are manually, deliberately settling your head at the very top of your spine. Notice how all this physical settling seems to also settle you emotionally. It does. It's not just a strange coincidence. As your body aligns, your nervous system comes back into a beautiful state of grounded, settled alignment. So here you are in this moment. Now we'll start some deep breathing. And now you're going to really begin to feel the power, your own ability to bring yourself into this blissful warrior state by doing the most natural thing in the world, breathing with some deliberate focus. So we'll be breathing in and out through the nose and hearing a sound in the back of your throat like a loud ha sound, and listening to my very gentle instructions for aligning different parts of your body in coordination with the breath. So once again, adjusting your gaze, sitting a little backwards into your hips, feeling a slight leaning back, and let's begin. Inhale. A loud ha sound at the base of your throat. Pull your collarbones wide apart. If you're looking ahead of you in a mirror, you might look at the shape of your collarbones and try to make it like one long continuous straight line. Fill your rib cage out like an accordion, moving out 180 degrees to the sides, trying not to thrust it forward, and just hold yourself here. And exhale. Loud ha sound at the base of your throat. Collarbones stay wide. Now your ribs come together like that accordion coming in. Drop your tailbone down, and then lightly tuck your tailbone up towards your navel, feeling that last little lift, almost like a moment of levitating. Stay empty. Feel the soothing of this. Inhale. Hear the loud ha sound at the back of your throat like an ocean wave rising. Collarbones are wide, ribs are expanding out like an accordion, holding yourself in this fullness. Exhale. Loud ha sound. Collarbones stay wide, your chest and heart stay open. Your ribs come together, moving the diaphragm to empty the lungs, deflating, dropping your tailbone straight down. When you're totally empty of breath, tuck your tailbone slightly towards your navel. Stay here in this emptiness. Inhale. Collarbones wide, chin is still down, a little head back, ribs are expanded, 180 degrees, opening wide. Exhale. Your arms are limp, your ribs come together. Drop your tailbone down, straight down to the ground, and tuck it slightly up towards your navel. Notice this works whether you're sitting in the floor, sitting in a chair, or lying on the ground. Inhale. Feel yourself filling up. Watch those ribs, not thrusting up towards the ceiling, but out towards the side walls, opening wide. Exhale. Stay empty. Feel the ribs coming together to meet in your midline, dropping your tailbone down, tucking it slightly up like a little undulation pointing towards your navel. Inhale. So you're breathing through your nose, but it's almost as if you have this little hole at the base of your throat, a little portal to bring the breath in that loud ha sound. Ribs are wide. Exhale. Same loud ha sound. Emptying, emptying. Tailbone down, tucking it slightly up. One more. Inhale. Holding here, feeling the fullness, ribs expanded, collarbone one long straight line. Exhale. Holding in this pause, holding right here in this empty space between your inhale and your exhale. Beautiful. Let's take a sip of water. And now right here and right now, coming back into that arrival posture, I'd like you to just notice how you feel. Physically, is there a sense of lightness in your body? Sort of a lighter landing here? And emotionally, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being very calm and chill, 10 being very agitated and upset, where have you landed right now? Is it different than when you first started this practice with me today? I always feel like taking a big sigh right after all these beautiful breaths. So if you've noticed a change, that you have facilitated this movement towards a sense of well-being, a sense of blissful warrior, then you've begun to feel how powerful you are, how empowered you are in choosing how your body and your mind can feel. If you don't feel the change right now, don't worry about it. Remember, no berating yourself. No shoulding, no worrying about what you didn't achieve. Just being here in the present moment and realizing that you're here. And this is exactly right for you, right here and right now. Now we're going to move into some yoga asana, which is poses. Now this is the yoga that most people mean when they talk about yoga. The movement yoga, the exercise form of yoga. Really what you're doing is now adding body movement to this beautiful sense of stillness and calmness that you've created with your breath and your focus, and noticing how delicious it can actually feel to move your body. So you are not doing asana to fix anything. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not doing asana to change anything. All those things will happen anyway. You're doing it for the pleasure of being in this body in this present moment. So we're going to be sitting for some of these poses right now. If you're already sitting on a cushion, let's move the cushion away. If you are sitting on a chair and you'd like to join us in these movements, come to the ground. If you were lying on your back, roll over onto your side, push yourself up with your palms, come right here into a sitting position with us. Bring your legs out in front of you. Keep your palms on the floor on the side of you. Lightly lock your arms and let's bounce the legs a little bit. So Just bouncing some of that circulation back into your legs, especially good if you were just sitting cross-legged. And bounce lightly, and bounce lightly, and stop. Now place your palms on your shins and lock your arms. Flex your heels out in front of you, flex your toes towards your face. Lean a little bit back into your hips so both hips feel grounded. Rotate your knees in, dropping your chin. Your gaze is through the tops of your eyes. Your head is backwards a little on your neck. And feel settled in your own body. It may sound a little odd, but think about how many of us are discomforted in our bodies. Here you get to settle in. Inhale. And exhale. All right, we're going to do some stretching and forward bending. All beautiful, invigorating poses. Bring your right leg to the side 45 degrees. Tuck the sole of your left foot against your inner right thigh. Move back a little more. Flex your right heel forward. Flex your toes towards your face. And just sit back here. Again, feeling your own stability. It's very empowering to feel how light and how stable you are in your body. We don't think of ourselves this way. We think of ourselves as broken in some way and unbalanced and not flexible and all those other terrible things we say about ourselves. But right here, right now, you can't deny that you feel settled. Your own body becomes this beautiful oasis for you to live from. So let's take it forward. As you inhale, arms overhead, sweep them up, interlace all 10 fingers, and pull this net of fingers to the ceiling. Lean back into your hips. Turn towards your outstretched right leg. And as you exhale, let's throw this net of fingers over the ball of your right foot, even if you have to bend your knee up to catch the ball in the neck, and then drop your forehead to your knee. Bend your knee if you need to. Make your forehead touch. Bend your elbow tips. Slump your shoulders. Lean a little more into your left hip. Flex your right heel forward. And breathe here. Just allow gravity to do the work of flexing your spine, forehead to knee. You breathe. Inhale. Breathe, exhale. Elbows bend. And change. Pulling the net off the ball of your foot, bringing it back up over your head, flexing your right heel, flexing the toes towards your face. Bring your torso back to center. And then exhale your arms down and just sit here for a moment. Beautiful. Now inhale, bring your right arm up by your ear. Left hand to hold your left ankle, flexing your right heel forward, and as you exhale, bend over to the right. Let your arms sort of sweep over your head. Rotate your right rib cage towards the ceiling a little bit. Turn your chin onto your right shoulder. Keep that right rib cage rotated up a little and back. Just lean into it. Breathe here. Inhale. And exhale. Rotate the right rib cage behind you. Lean over a little more. Oh, a whole bunch of things just cracked in my spine in the most beautiful, harmonious way. And change. Coming back to center. Up and pull and lift and lengthen. And now bring your left left arm up again to meet the right. Make a net of fingers and pull and lift. Feel your ribs get lifted up towards your head, straight up. And then alternate the legs using the abdominal wall. Left leg is out 45 degrees. The sole of your right foot is tucked up against the inner left thigh. Now a little word of caution. Sometimes for some people, bending the knee, especially in this position here, as I have my right knee a little bit outward flexing, is painful. There is no pain in this practice. If this feels painful to you, you can keep your legs straight out ahead of you. Pain does not make you a better practitioner. It actually throws you out of your bliss. Stretch up, reach up. Turn towards the outstretched left leg, and as you exhale your breath, catch the ball of your foot in the net of your fingers. Bend your knee if you need to, but keep that net solid with all 10 fingers webbed together, and then drop your forehead to your knee. Again, if you need to bend the knee to make the forehead touch, that's perfectly fine. Let your elbow tips bend and your shoulders slump. Let your spine open like a big slinky, being pulled on by gravity. Inhale. Exhale. Noticing that the longer you hang here and relax, the less you struggle and fight, the more you sense this well-being just coming back online for you. It's always been there. You're giving yourself a chance to connect with it. Breathe deep. Inhale. Exhale. Changing out of this pose, disconnect the net from the ball of your foot, stack your slinky, arms overhead, and turn your torso towards the center again. And as you exhale, sweep your right arm down, holding your right ankle lightly, left arm up by your ear, reach, stretch, lift. And as you exhale, lean over to the right, letting the left arm round the head. Rotate your left rib cage a little towards the ceiling and mostly behind you in that little twist of the torso. Your outstretched left leg is flexing at the heel, locking at the heel, toes towards your face. Now once again, that left leg might be bent, that's fine. Letting gravity take your slinky down. Inhale, lift your breastbone a little. Rotate your left rib cage behind you. And as you exhale, just letting gravity take hold. Chin is on your left shoulder. Breathe. And changing out of the pose, coming back up. Turn your head to the center. Turn your torso to the center. Sweep your other arm, your right arm back up. Net the fingers and pull. Now both legs are out in front of you. Flex both heels. Flex the toes towards your face. Round your pinky toes towards your face. Lean into your hips a little bit. Lifting as you inhale more, straight up out of your waist. Now separate your neck, palms face parallel to each other. And as you exhale, coming forward, looking forward. Bringing your arms down, locking your arms, taking your first two fingers, hooking them between your first two toes. Lock your arms, shoulders down and back. Now while you hold your big toes, your legs might be straight or your knees can be bent. You're not forcing anything. You're just observing where you are today and settling in. walk your hips backwards. Feeling yourself get more and more grounded on your hips, on your sits bones. Now focus your eyes on something on the wall in front of you or on an object in front of you, looking at the tops of your eyes. Lock your arms at the elbows. Rotate the inner parts of your elbows to face each other. Flex your heels forward, round the pinky toes towards your face. As you inhale, lift your breastbone, collarbones wide, chin down a little. And as you exhale, slide forward on your heels, flattening the backs of your knees to the mat. With every exhale, you suggest to yourself, relax my knees, relax my knees. And eventually the legs will straighten, and it doesn't matter when or if that happens. But when it does, here's the next step. Inhale, lift your chest, collarbones wide, chin down. Exhale, flattening the backs of your knees to the ground means you can pull a little bit on those big toes and your heels will hover. So if your heels are hovering, now bend your elbow tips, guide your chest between your shoulders, pick your thumbs up and guide your forehead towards your thumbs, coming forward and down, lengthening that slinky in your spine, elongating. Keeping the elbow tips reaching for the ground until they touch. Then you can use them to squeeze the legs together even more. Holding and breathing. Holding the pose doesn't mean holding your breath. It means relaxing into the pose, breathing to coordinate, and change. Coming up. Palms on your feet. Palms slide onto your shins. And then flex your heels. Rotate your big toes inward, your knees inward, shoulders are down, collarbones wide, chin down, lean a little back into your hips, and take a breath. Inhale. Exhale. Sound at the back of your throat, and exhale. Following in with forward bends, let's do a beautiful restorative pose called Child's Pose. So flip over onto your heels, sitting hips to heels. Now remember, this may or may not be possible for you today to sit your hips to your heels. Doesn't matter. If sitting hips to heels is at all painful, put your fingertips on the ground, lift up so you're hovering a little bit over your heels, right? And then you can just wiggle a little bit. You know, before we do Child's Pose, let's do a bit of a backward bending pose called Fixed Warrior. So, wiggle your hips and separate your heels. So wiggle your hips to separate your heels and settle your hips to the ground between your feet. If your hips don't hit the ground today, stay right here and just keep revolving those hips. Just feeling how really comforting that is and how much fun it actually is. And then when the hips are down, we're going to go into the next part of this pose. Right palm on right sole, left palm on left sole. Lift your chest, squeeze your shoulder blades together as you inhale. And as you exhale, hang your head and reach your elbow tips to the ground one at a time. Ease down. Keep hanging your head, lifting your chest, sliding to the back of your head. No pressure on the top of your head ever. Lie down on the back of your head, lying down on your back, and sweep your arms over your head, grabbing opposite elbow tips. Now these are some full extension pose parts. You don't have to do them all. You can stop wherever you feel is your place of settling in today. This pose has many comfortable places for you to settle. you feel your way into the place that's most like well-being for you today. If you're all the way down here in full extension, there's even something additional you can do. As you inhale, rib cage widens out. Tucking your chin, looking down the middle of your body. And as you exhale, you can begin to walk your knees together, keeping your knees pulling forward, feeling an intense kind of stretch on your quads. Not a pain, but an intensity of stretching that feels absolutely delicious. The depth of the stretch will feel better and better as you're more settled into the pose. Inhale. Exhale. Now, if you were down here in full extension, let's come back out. Elbow tips and forearms to the ground. Lean into your elbows, squeeze your shoulder blades together, begin to lift your chest, hanging your head, unwinding the pose, palms on the soles, coming up, stacking your spine. Your head will come on top of that beautifully stacked spine at the very end. And then sitting here, hips to heels, palms in your lap. Resting your eyes, looking forward out of the tops of your eyes. Feel the stillness that you've created in your body. Stillness is another word for alignment. Body comfort. Inhale. And exhale. Are you beginning to feel this sense of settling into your own body? Appreciation for how good your body can feel. What a beautiful place it can be to live your life from. Inhale. And exhale. All right, I changed my mind. Instead of child's pose, we're going to do a beautiful pose called half tortoise. Sometimes the body just dictates where it wants to go next. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Press your palms, interlace your thumbs, and pull. Fingertips to the ceiling, locking your arms behind your ears, squeezing your head with your biceps. Shoulders down, tailbone down, and tuck the tailbone slightly towards your navel to lift again. More inhale. And as you exhale, pull forward with your fingertips, keeping your head between your arms. Maybe being able to keep your hips on your heels, looking forward. Suck your stomach in and pull forward, lengthening the slinky in your spine the whole way down. See if your forehead will touch first, and then the blades of your pinkies. Slide along the blades of your pinkies, inching your fingertips towards the wall in front of you. Chin away from your throat, forehead on the ground. Inch again with the fingertips. Press down into the blades of the pinkies. Your wrists are off the mat. Elbows are locked. Drag your shoulders down from your ears. Feel your middle back and lower back settle. Inhale. Inch forward on the blades of your pinkies. Forehead on the mat, chin away from your throat. Exhale. Dig down into the blades of your pinkies. Your wrists come up. Elbows locked. Shoulders down. Middle back releases and lower back drops. Breathing here. Full extension. Exhale. And change. Press your palms, lock your arms, pull your fingertips forward, and stack your spine. One coil of the slinky on top of the other, being so deliberate. Head stays locked between your arms, settled on your neck. until your slinky is stacked completely to support your head on top. Reach, lengthen, stretch, and drop your arms. Sitting here for a moment. Palms in your lap, shoulders down, collarbones wide. Chin dropped a little, your eyes focused on the wall in front of you, looking out of the tops of your eyes more than the centers. Head is back a little on your neck. Inhale. Exhale. Follow the movement of your rib cage, out and in. Fingertips on the ground, bring your legs out in front of you. And again, flex your heels, and let's bounce the legs a little bit. Bouncing the knees, flexing the heels. Lean back a little into your hips. You're really grounded here. Bouncing and bouncing. And let's end this practice with final Shavasana. So with your legs out in front of you, place your palms on your shins. Lock your elbows, collarbones wide, looking at the wall through the tops of your eyes, looking at the wall in front of you or an object, sensing that your chin is down, your collarbones are wide. Flex your heels forward, flex your toes towards your face. Inhale. Let the rib cage widen. And as you exhale, keeping your arms locked and your heels flexed, begin to sort of roll back into your hips, sliding your hands over your knees. Keep the collarbones wide. Notice the sort of instinct to hunch your shoulders, but keep them wide. Sliding your palms over your calves, pulling from your heels, lowering every vertebra. One at a time. Settling down. Relax your arms to your sides, palms facing up, heels lightly touch, toes flopped apart. Nestle your shoulder blades to the mat, pull your collarbones wide. Now you can close your eyes if you'd like, and we will take some deep breaths in this beautiful Shavasana pose, complete stillness. Now I'm going to sit up as I guide you through. You might want to watch this yoga sit up, but stay where you are. Shh. And remaining in your Shavasana pose. So Shavasana is not just a time for resting afterwards, although there isn't anything wrong with resting. This is actually a time when your intelligent body is working at its most harmonious. You've done breathing and movement, you've had some water to drink, and here you are in this place where you can begin to feel the humming of your body, the way it's like a well-tuned orchestra, everything just beautifully cooperating. So breathe for a few breaths and connect to this feeling of this amazing body that you have. Inhale. Keep your collarbones pulled wide. Feel both shoulder blades nestle to the mat. Your palms are facing up. Your heels are lightly touching. Allow your lower back to drop on the exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Every breath, you connect more and more to this truth of well-being. Inhale. And exhale. And now checking in on yourself. Back to that scale of 1 to 10. 1 being very calm, settled and peaceful, 10 being agitated, aggravated, upset about something? Where have you landed in this moment? Maybe 45 minutes or so to change your entire demeanor and know that you have increased the sense of stability not only in your emotional state, but in the state of your physical health. So many of us are so concerned these days about our physical health. And yet we have such a wonderful medicine right here inside of us. Just tapping into it every day as a practice. Yoga is called a practice, not because you are practicing to perfect something. It's not really like practicing the piano in order to get something just right. It's practicing for the pleasure of the practice, for the instant benefits that you get in this moment, which you can feel right now. Yes, this practice will have cumulative benefits. Yes, over time, your body will become more naturally flexible and toned and a much nicer place to live. But right now, you can feel the good that you've done for yourself. So congratulations. And thank you for joining me in today's practice. I love to say that doing this practice in the middle of the day, it's like giving your day a second chance. No matter how your morning went, no matter how conditions around you might have triggered you, this is your second chance to really get out ahead of the rest of your day and know that you truly are in control of how you feel in this body and in this life. That is a blissful warrior. And thank you for being a blissful warrior with me here today. I'm Rhonda Uretsky, the owner of Riverflow Yoga, the creator of this practice, which we are bringing to you here on this Facebook page live every day, 5 days a week. On the 6th day, we bring you hot yoga. On the 7th day, we rest. So join us live. I highly recommend that you come every day when this practice is live so that you get into the practice of knowing for sure, realizing for yourself how in control you are of your body and your emotional state. But of course, these practices here on Facebook Live are available to you anytime. Just scroll through our page, click on a live, and join in a practice of your own. It's wonderful when you can't sleep at night or any time you feel that your day could use a reset. That's what this will offer you. And we'll continue offering you these practices right here on Facebook Live for at least a little while longer. We've been coming here every day since March. So there are about 300 plus of these classes right here on our Facebook page, and they will all be here for a little while longer until we move them to our YouTube channel. I'm Rhonda Uretsky. Thank you for sharing this practice with me today. Go out and experience the rest of your day. Experience what it feels like to feel like yourself again. Thank you again. See you here tomorrow. Bye, friends.